Okay, folks, another recommendation from Facebook. It popped up in a clip where people do screenshots or screen grabs, and they reverse the image so
Oh, sorry.
it can stay posted without any copyright infringement. This movie, I got a free trial for the Hallmark Channel for a week. 2005, The Magic of Ordinary Days, directed by Brent Shields. With commercials, it had a 2-hour runtime because of it was made for TV. This movie broadcasted on CBS January 30th, 2005. It was a Sunday night special. The screenplay for this film also was written as early as 2009 with approval from the Hallmark Channel, but they are waiting for all the original cast to get back on board, and it is yet to be made to this day in 2024. So there's a sequel. The Magic of Ordinary Days. It is based off of a novel of the same name by Anne Howard Cruel. And it is one of the highest grossing made-for-TV movies at the time. 18 million people tuned in to watch this movie. Wow. And it has your girl from Felicity, Carrie Russell. So with that being said, if you want to kind of give an overview on this Hallmark movie that was very tame.
I'm used to having a prop, and we don't have the box.
No box.
But yeah, Carrie Russell, she's pretty much famous for her big curly hair, at least in the show Felicity. Here, her hair is a lot more tame, so the excitement's not there with that, but that's just a side note.
But this is a period film.
Right.
That takes place in 1944 in Colorado.
So she's a young lady who finds herself knocked up, and the man who
he's a naval
gone.
aviator flight instructor, and we're right around after D-Day of World War II, and
so she hasn't been in touch with him for a while, and then her
father's a minister.
Pastor.
No, it was her dad.
Was it?
I think her dad was the minister.
Oh, okay. Well, in any event, the minister, whether it's her dad or whatever, it was scandalous back then to, just have a baby out of wedlock. So she was sent away when she was not even showing yet. As soon as they found out she was pregnant, she was sent away to a farm and was to be married off to this guy who was a really nice person, and felt that maybe it was a calling from God for him to marry this woman and kind of rescue her.
Unwed mother.
Otherwise, it would be extremely taboo back then, and who knows what would become of her. So basically, he's kind of rescuing her from a bad situation.
And it's kind of like a worlds colliding situation because she was from Denver, which is a major metropolitan area. And prior to her falling pregnant and the war, she was majoring in archaeology at a university and had plans to travel abroad. And then World War II happens and she gets pregnant and all of her plans were dashed. And meanwhile, this guy, farmers were important for the war effort. So she leaves her metropolitan area and goes deep into the wilds of rural Colorado, where they say her nearest neighbor is like 7 miles away, which is her brother and sister-in-law. And town was like an hour away where the public library was, and they didn't even have a telephone at the new farm that she found as her new shotgun wedding situation.
But they did have electricity and running water,
yes,
which nice.
He claims that he recently had just installed on her behalf to make her feel more at home. So he was a very enduring guy.
The toilet flushed.
Yes.
Which is amazing for back then, apparently. And she's in this situation all because of this, which she was not showing at the time, and she got dresses made later in the episode, maternity dresses.
I will say that the movie did have some feelings of authenticity as far as the women's hairstyles to me seemed accurate. They got the cars right. However, I want to add that some of the worst CGI I have ever seen in my life was featured in this movie, and it was stupid stuff. Like, why did they need to add in all of these CGI trees with the worst possible digital renderings circa 2005 that it kind of took away from me. But what are you expecting from a Hallmark movie? Although I will say A lot of these Hallmark movies of the past are excellent. Like all of the Glenn Close, Sarah Palin-Tall films with her and Christopher Walken, that's world-class entertainment. And even that one movie that we watched before I was doing movie reviews a couple of years ago with Jennifer Garner.
What was it called?
The
Rose Hill.
Rose Hill.
That was a good movie.
And then we watched that one movie with Jennifer Jason Leigh, the love letter one.
Oh yeah, I loved that movie.
So there's some old Hallmark movies that we had watched in the last 3 years before the YouTube stuff that I've been doing and talking about movies that are classics and are excellent.
True.
This movie was so popular at the time that it was even rebroadcast a couple of years later on television. So again, before the age of streaming, you had to wait for resyndication for the rerun to come around. And 18 million people watched this show on its debut night in January of 2005. So this was like a big deal. It's like Sunday night Hallmark special, right?
Yeah.
So this movie, again, it's a made-for-TV movie, so the critics' average is kind of harder to determine than like a Rotten Tomatoes theatrical release. That being said, over 500, there is no Rotten Tomato critic average because it was a made-for-TV movie. Over 500 people on Rotten Tomatoes audience score did submit their average, and their average is 86%. That being said, 86 people have submitted their Google average to Google. Their average is 5 out of 5. And even IMDb has a very decent score of 7.5 out of 10. And it was an okay movie. Was it the best movie ever? No, but it was entertaining enough. It's a one watch for me. I'm going to go 3 out of 5.
It's probably a one watch for me, but I am very interested to see the sequel, so it'd be cool.
Are you comparable with me? 3 out of 5?
I guess I'm 3.5 out of 5. I'll give it another. I'll give it another half star. It was good. It was entertaining. I like the other aspect that I liked was that they had Japanese workers who came.
That was a very important
because they were
thing.
like in an internment camp, and then they were working in the fields. And her new husband, he wasn't really like racist, I don't think, but he just kind of had the attitude like, I'm busy, I'm a farmer, like I have to work my crops. I can't be concerned
with all the benevolence toward these. And it was a good thing because it did shed light on the ill treatment of all the internment camps to these Japanese Americans that had nothing to do with Imperial Japan. And they were born and raised here, forced to sell their properties, losing their businesses, being placed into internment camps for the duration of the war. And you did not see similar treatment to German Americans. It was mostly just a Japanese thing because I think they look different, right? So,
and it was neat how the Carrie Russell character, and I'm sorry, I forgot her first name in the movie.
Irrelevant. It's bad reporting on our behalf. We apologize. It is important,
I can't remember, but
I didn't write it down.
It was neat how she did take the time to go over there and like befriend these two Japanese women, and she even like helped them when one of them got into a bind and like could have ended up in jail for helping like this German POW.
They were trying to help a German Nazi prisoner escape. She
like thought this guy was her boyfriend, and
but
that he was
her.
really like in love with her. And then the Carrie Russell character was like, you can't help him, you could go to prison and like implicate your whole family. And she's like, here, let me help you like deal with this bad situation, basically.
And the other element of this movie that I liked is she is struggling to still accept this new relationship that she agreed to marry this new guy. And we later find out that she had been writing the father of the baby, which was the only guy that she'd ever apparently slept with. And that situation is explained too, because she said she was in a vulnerable moment where her mom had died and she was lonely and had no one. And then she has like a one-time romantic interlude with this naval aviator. And she finally, after multiple letters of writing his military base that he is on active duty at, he finally writes back and he's like, I'm not the father of the kid, basically like, don't bother me with it anymore. and she
Which
feels
she knew
rejected.
He was, so.
And even her family, she there was one important thing where she marries into this new family where the guy has a sister and nieces and nephews, and they're just so accepting and so loving of her, even though she's in kind of a scandalous situation for the time period, again 1944. She remarks at a Thanksgiving dinner that she's never felt love from anybody like this new family that just welcomed her in,
right
like
now.
the prodigal son returning.
It was such a tearjerker moment. That's why
So,
I'm 3.5 out of 5.
It's a good movie, but it's not like my favorite movie. But I do like these types of movies.
It was really sweet. She was just like, I've been shown more love by this family in the past, however long she'd been there, than I did in 25 years at my house with my parents. And you're just like, okay, I'm bawling now. It was a good tearjerker moment.
So we both agree that this movie does deserve a sequel, and we would enjoy seeing that. But I haven't seen this style of a Hallmark movie in a long time. I feel like the Hallmark movies they do now are all very sappy, like those Christmas movies.
And more modernized.
Or like those ones that you made me watch with that one girl from Mean Girls. All those crossword puzzle mysteries.
Those are good, though.
But they do not compare to this
someone's bursting in.
generation. To me, this is like the last of the golden era of like period movies for Hallmark.
And it was pretty period correct because
it was
like,
pretty
they
good.
comment on like, oh, your dress looks like it's store-bought and stuff like that. So, you know, the hairstyles seemed pretty accurate. And
again, I would still recommend it as a one watch. And it's if you could get the Hallmark Channel, download it, you get a 7-day free trial. Check it out.
There's some good themes, like he forgives her for writing the other guy. At first he's really mad about it, but then, you know, you kind of understand that she wanted to let the father of her child know, and she was kind of still hung up on him and wanted to see if he would have any interest in like her. And then of course he was done with the whole situation. So it just kind of showed too that there's still like honorable people out there, because he was willing to sacrifice. You know, he could have met some other woman in town or whatever, right? But he chose to kind of sacrifice his life and marry her. And he said he already loved the baby and everything. So it's rare. It's rare these days to see such an upstanding guy. So, you know, of course, women are going to love it.
It's definitely a chick flick, and maybe that's affecting my score because it's not the type of movie that...
We did think it was a little bit, I mean, it's Hallmark, so of course it's going to be tame, but as far as their chemistry together, it took a long time to develop any chemistry.
I maybe that's what they were going for, right? Because she didn't initially, but even, I don't know. I just feel like there was no spark. Well, he was super quiet, and then she wasn't really into the whole situation at the beginning. Yeah. So, I mean, I know Hallmark is always tame, and especially in that time period.
And
it was made for TV, right? So. And it's Hallmark.
Yeah. But still, you know, give us something.
We got kids creeping, and we'll wrap this review up from there. Until next time, we'll see you then. Thanks for watching.
Bye.